Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is your live call-in talk show all about the Wheel of Time. It is only my third hour of streaming today, so I knew I was gonna stutter a little bit, but I'm back tonight. Happy to be back. I've had a lot of caffeine today to get through tonight, and after the season 2 release date, and I put this poll up there. What do you guys think? Is it the hype? Today's hype overshadowed the Verin casting? And I feel like most people are saying more than enough hype to share, which I agree. Yes, so we're doing our cast spotlight on Meera Syal, who is going to be playing Verin. And I have some wonderful guests that I'm going to introduce in a bit. But before I jump into that, there are some rules of how we do this show. So the first part of the show is going to be no spoilers at all. So no spoilers from the books, not even from the show really, because we're going to be focusing on Meera Syal, the actor, and reviewing some of the works that we watched and looked at. And once we're done with that, then we'll move on to full book spoilers, talk about Verin, the character, and then at the end kind of bring it together and try to see, okay, having reviewed those things, how well does she fit this character? And so yeah, just be careful in that the mods will be active in chat to make sure we stick away, and my guests will have fun trying not to talk about Verin when they talk about Meera. So before I introduce them, let me show you a little something about Meera. So Meera Syal, born on June 27th, 1961 in Wolverhampton, England. She is, among many things, she's a comedian. She is a writer and has published, not only like playwrights, but also novels. And some of these novels she's adapted onto the screen and have been on television. She's also a journalist. She's written occasional articles for The Guardian and is obviously an actress too. She completed her she studied English and drama at the Manchester University, and she's gotten a few awards. So she was awarded the Member of the Order of the British Empire in 1987, the Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2015, and in 2003, on The Observer, she was kind of voted as one of the funniest acts in British comedy. And only this month, she was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award, the BAFTA Fellowship, that the BAFTA Television Awards awarded her, and quite the month for her,
Mm-hmm.
being cast on the Wheel of Time as Verin, and receiving this award. And these are all of all the faces of Meera Syal that we looked at, and the Verin we will see, hopefully, in about 100 days on September 1st. But to talk about all of that, let me welcome my three wonderful guests, Koala Sedai, Sulin, and Critter. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very good.
Whoa,
Good.
excited?
It's been a wild day. I am so excited.
Okay, focus, right? I'm like, yeah, get out of season 2, whatever. This is talking about we're talking about Meera. Let me see if I missed anything in chat. Doesn't seem like it. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun looking at her work. And we all looked at a few of her different things, but one of the things I realized right away was she's done a lot of different kinds of characters. A lot of comedy, and she's done that. But there's some serious drama type roles too. Was there anything in particular that you, Critter, thought, wow, this is really awesome in terms of the variety of things you saw?
Absolutely. So I looked at Life Isn't All Ha Ha Hee Hee, which is based on a novel that she wrote, and Sandman, which I had already seen on Netflix. It's the
Hmm.
newest thing that we looked at, and so I went from something that was like borderline soap opera in the drama. You know, the drama was so the tea was piping hot in that show, and it
Yeah.
was just like all about relationships. It was funny, it was sad. And then in the Sandman, she just had a guest role, whereas in Life Isn't All Ha Ha Hee Hee, she's like one of the main stars. And she was just this fun little presence who just kind of popped in one episode. You had a great time with her. She was cheeky, she was sly, and then she popped out. So I feel like I did get two different sides of her in just the two
Hmm.
things that I watched. She just has
Yeah.
a lot of range.
Yeah. No, I think that there is so much that we'll go into as we go through each of our work. But the first thing I think I wanted to show is her kind of this is like her not her acceptance, but she was talking to the BAFTA. She had an interview with BAFTA and was talking about receiving this, and particularly this one, the start of this, where she's talking about how she first started in the industry in acting. So let me play this for you guys.
I think I ever said on screen was in the bill, of course. So like a rite of passage, and every actor has to do the bill at least several times in their young career. And I had to run down Whitechapel High Street shouting, "There's a bomb in the restaurant!" So obviously wearing my own clothes and had done my own makeup and hadn't done it very well. So the makeup was down here by the end of it. And I'd also worn really inappropriate shoes. So I had panda eyes and a blister by the end of the day. But I'd done my first line on screen. My first audition, I can't.
Yeah, so that was her first line on the screen. This, I mean, I don't know if all of you have watched this. I mean, any interview she's done, I've been very impressed by. Kuala, was there something specific about this that you wanted to talk about?
That interview, I just loved it because we're so lucky to start with that we've got her receiving this fellowship, and now she's going to be Verin for us. But I loved the idea of her running down the street yelling, "There's a bomb in the restaurant," because it felt really out of character for our calm, calculating but befuddled sort of character that we're expecting. And yet there's just this beauty in the way she described the interview. Um, and I loved it when she said, "This is aging me, okay," that she grew up believing that she would marry Donny Osmond. And, everybody in my age group totally believed that when we were growing up. So I just like bonded with Meera immediately. Um, but what really struck me watching that interview was the way they cut and edited it so that she was just telling us this, all about herself. And we were just like jumping around. But I loved her description of the journey that she's been on in the industry, because she described herself as someone who, on paper, was never meant to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And that that really struck at me. Um, she said that there just weren't any scripts about women like me, and she had to create her own path. And now she's mentoring. So, yeah, everything screamed at me, this is exactly who we want to see.
Yeah, I think the meaning of an award like this is basically this is someone who is well established and now being recognized. I mean, Lifetime Achievement Award is such a huge thing, so we're getting an actor who is a master at what she does, right? So the fact that that is the month that she is going to be, was announced as Verin is just was perfect. Let's move on to this next piece of work. Yes, yesterday. This I think is something, Sulin, you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is she in yesterday?
Okay. So Yesterday is a film about a man who's called Jack Malik, and he wakes up after a accident. He's on a bike and he gets hit by a bus, and he wakes up and no one remembers who the Beatles are. And there's a few other things like Coca-Cola's gone, cigarettes are gone, but the main thing is the Beatles. And so he's a struggling musician, and so he starts to try and remember all the songs and then starts singing them, and people think it's theirs, and chaos ensues.
Right.
And so Meera Syal plays his mum, who's called Sheila, and she's a bit exasperated with her son, who won't pack in the dream of being a musician and just get a real job. And she has some really nice moments with him, and she's her husband in the film is her real life husband, and he's in quite a lot of other work. So if you watch a few of the things that we've all seen, you'll see him popping up in a lot of them.
Yes, yeah, no, that is true, and they have a interesting dynamic together in pretty much anything they've done. So, I think it's a relatively small role, but what stood out to you? What words would you use to describe, how she portrayed this role?
She's a perfect mum. She's so there's sort of two key scenes that stand out, and one is her son's trying to play her "Let It Be," and every time
you want me to play that? Let me.
You got it, because it is hysterical.
Yeah, let me play this for everyone, and I think this should work. Let's try it.
At the moment.
Well, your top priority should be getting yourself some new teeth. I bought you a Pepsi.
We not got any Coke.
What?
Coca-Cola.
I don't know what you're saying. Come downstairs if you're hungry.
Gotcha. I think was that what
There's
you
a bit later on, but it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah. So there's that part. What else? In terms of
so she's really she just plays this really tired mum who is trying to be really supportive, but is also trying to not roll her eyes, and she keeps a straight face really well. Which I thought was really remarkable. I don't know if I could have kept a straight face filming that scene. And then there's a scene later on, and her son, he's about to go on stage for his big debut concert. And so her and her husband, they go into the room and they just sort of congratulate him, and it's this really sweet moment. And she's really heartfelt. It's very instantly genuine. Instantly, you just want her to be your mum. And the dad's very funny, and he sort of tries to steal the free sandwiches that are there. But she plays this one scene completely straight, and she's just so warm and loving, and you forgive everything that she's everything that she's done before that point, because at this moment she is the most supportive person in the world.
Okay. So the words I heard, and motherly, genuine, warm, but can hide, maybe not give away things and have a face that I think I noticed that theme where, and I'll talk about it in a bit too. Kuala, I think this is something you saw too. What stood out as far as Meera's acting in this role to you?
It was great watching it because I had already seen the movie, and so to watch it but just focus on Meera was really fun. And I would just say facial acting. When Ed Sheeran arrives at the door and she just doesn't even know who she is, and her facial acting it's just like chef's kiss.
Yeah. No, I think that is something that's you can tell that it's effortless at times, where it's it's not something it comes natural to someone, I think, who's a great actor. and I've seen this movie, and I feel like it came out many years ago now, so I don't really remember it as well. I just remember the plot of the movie more than the actual acting of her. But yeah, I do recall, there's certain parts that there is an ease of being funny when you're not actually trying to be funny that she conveys, and it's not I wouldn't call it goofy, but there's something, I don't know, silly about the faces she makes or something that I always feel I get out of it. Career, have you seen this or no? Is this
I
something?
have
No.
not. No,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize whenever you guys were talking about this that that's what this was, because I've seen the ads for it and I wanted to
Right.
see it at the time, and I didn't
Yes.
realize that this is what that was, and now I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think this is again a role that's, I think in the last 5 years, so she was playing a supporting role, and that is most of what the roles that we'll see here are mostly supporting roles, kind of bit part, not the main role, and which is, I think, not probably fair to say most of her work has been, these large supporting roles that she's done.
There was a show called The Split,
Mhm.
which was I think it was a BBC drama that came out a few years ago, and she did have like the main role in that,
Okay.
and I remembered it yesterday.
Okay. She very well established actor, right? So much work that she's done, and it was hard narrowing these down. Okay, so I think the next, and I don't know how many requests I got that we have to review Meera Syal on Doctor Who. So I've never watched Doctor Who. I know, the TARDIS. I know, some of the lingo, but I've never actually watched it. And so I saw this too. But let me go to Koala. Yes, maybe set the premise for what the Doctor is doing in these couple of episodes that Mira's in.
So this was season 5 of Doctor Who, and it's a 2-episode part that Mira's in. And I wanted to start with just a little synopsis of just what's happening in those 2 episodes. So what's happening is the most ambitious drilling project that's ever been known to man is happening because the character that Mira's playing is named Dr. Nazreen Chowdhury, and she's a geologist. And she's discovered a mineral deep in the earth and has developed the technology to drill into it, only to discover, as they're drilling close to where it is, that they've discovered that there's this sealed off area with a civilization in there. And does that remind anybody of a story that we know?
So
But
just before I will interrupt you for a second. Many people have not watched Doctor Who. It's okay. So I thank you, everyone. I just had to, Sarah, Vinci, thank you. So her character, she's the doctor. She's also a doctor.
She's also a doctor, but she is not the doctor.
Yes, yeah.
If you know, you know.
Right. So yeah, what she's in both, so what kind of stood out to you? Yeah.
Exactly.
know.
So firstly, she is playing this role of a highly intellectual person who is actually making discoveries. And so we see a really different side of her to what I saw in yesterday, where she's, playing this motherly role. And Doctor Who is, it's a comedy. So even though she's playing a highly intellectual person, there's a lot of comedy involved. And she ends up being drawn into a role of negotiating with the civilization that is inside the Earth's crust. And so we see her firstly start talking as an intellectual, and then having to move into a role that she's not so comfortable with as a negotiator. And in the end, she actually willingly sacrifices her life's work to save humanity. And I just have to say again that she's a facial actor. And this is exactly what we want for the Wheel of Time, because season 1 was just full of brilliant facial acting. So in the 2 shows we've talked about so far, I've watched Meera go through, as Sulan was saying, being able to hide emotions, being able to be very motherly, being able to be very intellectual, and being able to negotiate. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. So before I go to you, I'm going to show this one part again. This
Yes.
this one part is just hilarious in her acting. So, and that facial acting for that matter. So let me show you. Let me fix that. Give me 1 second. Unmute.
You are decent, brilliant people. Nobody dies today. Understand?
So just the way she applauds and then realizes and then looks down, and there's so much emotion in terms of that she shows there, and I think throughout this there are parts where she gets really excited and hugs one of the other characters, and how how easily, I think one of the things that I've noticed is she's very convincing. So whatever she says is believable that may be the character she's playing, but I think it's very believable in how she portrays it. So it's like, yeah, I believe what you're saying here. And that's, how when you mention she in the end says, well, I'm going to stay back and, be with this person, and convinces the doctor, you can go. I just felt like it was believable from the 2 episodes that I saw. Sulin, was there anything else from this role that she played as a more of a intellectual scientist kind of person?
Yeah, I thought she was really strong in being a strong female character, being a strong female character who wasn't ashamed of her knowledge and her ability and her, I am smarter than other people, and that's okay. I thought she worked really well with the other actors. Like there was, there's quite a lot of, she interacts with different doctor's companions. She interacts with the doctor. She interacts with the other side characters. And every single one she has a completely different relationship with. And I think she's believable in every single interaction she has, which I think, you don't always get. And sometimes it's easy to be, bad for the sake of being bad, or, clever for the sake of being clever. But I felt like she was a human, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, going back to being, believable, is I think at the start, the doctor walks in and she's like, who are you? This is like, I know this is my, test site or something. But soon thereafter realizes I'm out of my depth, and this person knows what they're doing and says, well, I should follow them, and, falls underline, but still offers her expertise and all of that. And I think, at the end of the first episode, you're like, well, they have to go down into the earth and, save some of the hostages. She volunteers to go down, and again, convinces the doctor, is like, no, this is what I need to go down there because, well, this is my life's work. I need to do this. So again, that convincing part, not having too many, lines or space in a show like that, I was convinced by her. Again, Critter, have you seen this or no?
I have, but it's been ages. I watched all of the Doctor Who episodes until like mid Peter Capaldi. So
Okay.
I've seen it, but not but not in a while.
Yeah, and that most of my experience was trying to figure out. Wait, is Doctor Who supposed to be funny? Like, I don't know what vibe. Is it supposed to be horror?
It's
Is it
camp.
supposed to be haunting? Yeah, I'm not going to make any statements that people will not like. So I'm just going to say I had fun watching 2 episodes. That was fun. All right, so. The next one is one I think Sulin you pointed out, but I don't think you. I think only Critter and I saw. This is Life Isn't All Ha Ha He He. This is the one that she wrote as a novel and then adapted for I think the BBC into I think it's like a 6-episode kind of mini series. And in this, she let me do the intro for this, right? I'm doing this. Yeah. She plays, she's playing this role of a kind of middle-aged woman, mother of 2, married to, again, her in real life husband, who seems
I didn't
to be
know that was her husband.
Yeah, no,
that was her husband.
She seems to be. They seem to be acting a lot together, but and the story is really about these 3 women who were friends growing up, and now in it's particular to her. I don't know. It's not based on her own life, but her experiences as a South Asian, Indian, British Indian woman, and the culture that she grows up in. And she's in this. I mean, we're going to talk about some spoilers. I think it was a fantastic drama show regardless of Meera being in it, but it's basically one of the 3 is getting married in a traditional Indian kind of way, and it focuses on this new kind of relationship, but also focuses on Meera's character. Her name is Sunita. Is that her marriage isn't thriving at all. She's really not getting much support at home with a teenager and a toddler, and she is basically and she's married to a psychotherapist, but she's in pretty severe depression. So this is some content warning here for depression, self-harm, and that. And there is one scene that I'll show in a bit. But I think I saw the first 3 episodes, and she, the emotion she showed, from being in a setting where she's having fun with her friends. And she was a lawyer, or studied to be a lawyer, but didn't actually, I think, graduate, and now had to settle for this, life at home, and then be really serious and really, sad, and then sometimes hide those emotions, but you could tell. And there's this one particular scene where one of their friends, who is a director, is making a movie about them. That becomes kind of the premise. And the movie reveals a lot of things they don't want revealed, and she's just sitting there with this shocked face. That is just amazing acting. Cred, what did you think about this, and what you got out of it?
Sure. So whenever we were talking about what we were going to watch, I was like, oh, okay, this is like an hour episode. Like, I'll watch probably 1 episode, maybe 2, and we'll call it a day. And I have a cat here floating near me. Anyway, so I went into it. I watched episode 1, and I got immediately hooked. I was trying to focus on Meera's acting, which I did. I took some notes, but then I just wanted to know what happened. You know what I mean? That it's a fun show. Lots and lots of drama, and I do feel like Meera had just an insane range. She I one of my notes was that she had this insane ability to convey emotion without speaking at all. Like you've already mentioned it.
I'm gonna show. I think this is. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
This is the scene that we're gonna talk about. But yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because I literally wrote it down because she blew my mind. She had glee in, I don't think it was episode 1, but in some episodes she showed just absolute seething anger. She she just nailed it. I don't know exactly when this came out, but it seemed like it's a little older than
Yeah, I think it's
some
at
of these
least
other
10 years
things.
old. Yeah, or more
Yeah.
maybe at this
And
point.
that's
yeah.
really encouraging. The fact that she was like a lead role in the sitcom that she wrote, and then she ended up just absolutely slaying the game with all the range of emotions. She really impressed me. I'm super glad that I watched this. Because again, in the Sandman, she didn't have as big of a role, but in this, I got to see it all at once, and it was
Right.
really great.
Yeah, no, and you know, there's this smile she has. It's like almost like a knowing smile, somewhat of a naughty smile, where
Sly.
and she can say these kind of sharp, witty things in reply to certain situations or certain something her husband says, and seemingly doesn't seem too much, but it says a lot. Even
It
with
does.
a little bit of so
And-
she yeah, I think
I
it speaks
was
to her
just-
writing too, maybe, but the way
does.
she's yeah.
And I think even from episode 1 to episode 3, which I've only watched them because I started last night. I watched 3 episodes, just like 3 hours of content,
Yeah.
because I just wanted to keep watching. She went from someone who is this like blustery, overwhelmed mother to someone completely different by episode 3. It was like, not only did she have the emotional range, but she became a completely different person in the span of the series. And I meant to say this too, she is so captivating. Like, you like her immediately whenever she gets on screen. You feel like her bestie, and this series itself is about like her and her best friends, and you literally you're just a part of the team, and she's a big part of that. She's super likable, like very charismatic in many different ways.
Right. So this is the scene I wanted to show, and let's see if this is what you were talking about. Again,
Yeah.
I
think I know.
trigger warning, content warning. There, I'm going to cut it, but there is themes of depression and self-harm here. So put that out there. So yeah, let me show you this.
If he gets up, can you see to him? I've got a practice meeting early first thing.
Yeah, but I'll still be leaving the house before you.
Yeah, but you're a...
What? What? What am I, Akash?
Sunita!
So yeah, I mean, that facial acting, that twitch that she has, it's like masterful. And again, it's again a not the best sort of thing to be reviewing on a hype type of show, but that shows how well she can act. And that is just one part of it. She does it so many different times. Was that what you were thinking of, Critter?
It was literally, I was like, I wrote that timestamp down, but then I didn't message it because I realized that you were also watching, and I figured you would pick the one you wanted to pick. But yeah, I was it started there, and then I wrote others later because like she has this confession that happens later in the episode that's really compelling, and it's just she slays. I was so excited to see this.
Yeah. So I think that was, to me, of everything that I saw, I think they focused a lot on her face. They focused a lot on her face with other people around and how she looks at other people. And I think and there's a little bit of I don't know what to call it, not glee, but like wanting when she looks at that blade there, and you could feel all of it. So it's very well done. Yeah.
Afterwards, also, you didn't show it, but like, and again, trigger warning, but like once she does it, she gets this like wild relief on her face too. She doesn't say anything, but you can just see it. You can
She
feel
doesn't say
it.
anything throughout the scene.
And
She
you
has
go
no
on this
words.
journey. You go on the journey with her, and you are right there with her, and you believe her the whole way.
Yeah. no, she had me on the edge of my seat. I think this whole series, from what I've seen, and I'll finish it because I'm excited.
Same.
Just
I've got a week
figure-
free trial, so I gotta finish.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. I think that I felt I've watched most of these things, had a lot of her as a fairly main kind of actor. I think the other let's see, we're about 45 minutes. I think we have one more thing to review, a couple more things, but they're smaller, so we could probably wrap up faster. There are a couple of shows that she was on long running that she helped write and produce. I think it was Goodness Gracious Me and the Kumars at number 42. And Sulan, you reviewed or saw some of the Kumars at number 42. And this is like a variety show of sorts, isn't it? Is it? Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was originally the Kumars at number 42, and that ran for 53 episodes, which is 7 seasons in British money, and it debuted back in 2001, and then it went off air for a bit, and then they came back and did a revamp, which was just the Kumars, and there was a spin-off single that made it to number 1 in the charts, and they've done like little skits, but the basic premise is a British Indian family, and the mum and the dad is played by Meera Syal's husband, build a TV studio in their back garden so that the adult son, which is played by Meera Syal's husband, can be a TV presenter. And then they get on a different celebrity each week, a real celebrity, and interview them. And Meera Syal plays the grandmother.
Yeah, let me show her. Actually, I have a. You can keep talking, but that's her on the right there. So she's in costume
next to Donny Osmond,
as in character, in costume with props. I actually. I thought I got the picture with the teeth, because she has this smile that is just wonderful. But yeah, sorry I interrupted you there. So.
No. The teeth are remarkable. So the way they did this show is they would rehearse all the stuff before the celebrities came in, and then they would sort of have a vague idea of what they were going to do, but a lot of it was just improv. And in the early days it was pretty much just Meera Syal doing all the improvising, and then as they got more comfortable they started to riff off each other. They would riff off what the celebrities did. So all of the celebrity reactions and how they play off it is completely on the fly. Mm-hmm. And her character is, this sort of absurd grandmother who tells really silly stories about her childhood. She forces food on the guests, and she interrupts the interviews on stage constantly, and she's ever so slightly really thirsty. She's this really thirsty grandmother.
Yes.
She's hysterical.
Yes.
I cannot recommend watching it. There's loads of clips on YouTube and stuff as well.
Yeah, I that's what I saw. Let me try to play a small clip here. No, I don't think I have this one. But yeah, I saw this too, and I thought she gets very close with the celebrities whenever she's on. She gets really close. She makes them uncomfortable, and I feel like that is that's just the character she's playing. But she doesn't seem at all fazed by any of this. She's in that character and doesn't. So I thought that in terms of physical acting, I think she's wearing certain props, so she's wide feet and her shoulders are so she has to walk with a stoop. So there's a lot of physical acting. I think she does here that is that also I think is not something that I saw in her other roles, and that having different props and things like that, she'd be able to pull that off in pretty much any role. I like this, but Thirsty Grandmother added to my to be watch list. Yes, that is. Yeah. So I think the other one I don't have much there, but I saw. I don't know if you've seen any of the Goodness Gracious Me. There's a lot of YouTube clips out there. There's I think the most famous one is like Good Cop, Indian cop, or like Indian mom cop, bad cop, something like that, where and she's just hilarious. So she's done a lot of comedy with these two roles, and it has that range of what we just saw with Life Isn't All Ha Ha He He, with that seriousness, but then have that kind of comedic part to it too. And I think that's all for that. And I think the last one is the Sandman. So Critter, you want to tell us a little bit about what she did in the Sandman? I think this is the first time I had known she had played Meera, and I was watching the Sandman just because it's a cool show, and I'm like, it's Meera. Like I like recognized her and saw her like that. So so what does she has what kind of role does she have in that?
Sure. So she had a guest role in episode 3 of The Sandman, which is a 2022 Netflix show based on the graphic novel by Neil Gaiman. In the episode, she played Erica, a like priest of sorts, who was set to marry a princess of England to a famous soccer star. She suspected, though, that the princess was possessed by a demon, so she called the exorcist Constantine to come in and sort of mop things up. And things didn't go exactly as expected, but we got some Meera as Erica interacting with Constantine, who is played by, it's escaping me, but she was a familiar Jenna Coleman from Doctor Who. And they played off each other really super well. I enjoyed their dynamic, and I feel like maybe not more than in some of the others, but she was so kind of like cheeky and sly and fun in this one. She just, she commented on people looking fit, so we've got more thirsty Meera. And yeah, she was coincidentally holding a book for some of it, so that was a fun thing that I noticed for no reason in particular.
Yeah. So the word that I feel like it's coming to me a lot is she has this whimsical kind of,
yes,
she's that's the word that comes to me. And I saw someone in chat say, I think it's Light Blinded Fool says, I bet Meera is smiling all the time, and you get that feeling that there's always a smile on her face. Even at times when she does get serious, there is that kind of hint of a smile, and I think that's what makes, I thought at least, very likable. Like any role that she's playing, you're like, I like this person, and for the most part, she's playing likable characters. But there is an ease of, yeah, I like this person. I would think I would want to trust them, to the. Not knowing more than that, just looking at her facial expressions. But yeah, whimsical, I thought was a word that came to me. I think that's pretty much everything. So we've talked about range, we've talked about facial acting, this kind of genuineness, warmth. Any other words that kind of stood out?
You pointed out the physical acting from the Kumar's show for sure, which wasn't necessarily as present in some of the other shows.
Yeah. Ooh, this I love this. She has a twinkle in her eye. She
exactly
most definitely does. Thank you, Sneaky Chicken. That is a perfect kind of description of when she's on the screen with other people, you would want to look at her because of that twinkle in her eye, or that smile, that sly smile that she has. Definitely is something that you see throughout the roles that we saw. Koala, any other things you want to mention based on the works you saw? Meera, the actor, what's the biggest kind of quality that she has?
For me, it's definitely that facial acting, particularly when she's not necessarily really revealing what's going on inside her. I love how she does that, and those expressive eyes. And, seeing her as Rick the Vic, I love that in Sandman. That's a pretty good little thing that's always going to stick in my head, I think, and just seeing her in a dog collar and black robes, it just made
Yeah.
me laugh
Yeah.
out loud because I grew up with a lot of religion, so any clergy comedy for me is like some of the best comedy, and to see her doing that, and the way she responds to everyone around her when she's acting is another great feature I've found.
Yeah. So, what about you? Any kind of last kind of Meera thoughts before we switch gears and talk about the other part of tonight?
The only other thing I was going to say is I met her a few months ago.
Okay.
Through work, and she was really sweet. And she was presenting an award, and so I was backstage, and she was a bit flustered. She was, I think she was trying to get like her daughter to come out and meet her or something like that, and she was a little bit flustered. But people kept going up to her, and she took time and spoke to them all. And then 2 seconds later, she's out on stage presenting, and you would never have known that she was such a professional. And she could sort of switch it on like that. And that she was, very, very lovely.
Yeah. Critter, any last thoughts on Meera, the actor?
No, I'm just other than that, I'm really glad that I did watch the Life Isn't All Ha Ha He He. And I mentioned I got a week free trial, but I can't remember the service. It was on Apple TV. I know, so I saw somebody in chat wondering.
I got it on Tubi.
Okay, mine was not Tubi.
Mine just showed up as like you can watch this on Tubi, and I clicked it and it started playing, so I didn't have to do anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know how. Maybe it's
we'll find it on Tubi.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I have something that gives me that access. Maybe that's what it was, and it's all connected. That might have been it. But I'll try to put all those links in this video afterwards. Yeah. But yeah, the only other thing I would say is there is a matter of fact nature to her that she like doesn't have to say a lot or do a lot to get her point across, and that is, I don't know, a something that most of her characters had, I thought, where it's like, well, I don't have to be loud to make my point, you know. She can make it with sometimes very minimal kind of acting. So I thought that was, again, another I was thoroughly impressed, especially, again, Life Isn't All Ha He. Anyone out there, that's a great show to watch. Okay, we did it. So we got through that first part. Now, we don't forget Meera Syal for this next, 15 minutes or so, or when we're going to talk about full book spoilers now, guys. Everyone, folks in chat, full book spoilers. Verin Mathwin, our whose favorite Aes Sedai is Verin? Oh, the person who has a Twitter account.
Yeah, almost. She's in my top 5 of characters in the Wheel of Time. Okay, so I feel like that's something.
Let me start with you, Koala. There, I mean, Team Verin, right there. What is essential Verin for the TV show? What is maybe one or two qualities that have to be in the TV adaptation of Verin?
I think for me, firstly, it's going to be that new viewers to the show don't have a clue that there's anything more going on than what meets the eye. They might start to think, there's something about her, but as I'll just be really happy if she does all that just beautiful facial acting that we saw.
So we're not going to talk about Meera. So just Verin, in terms of.
Well, yes.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
If Meera can put across that feeling in the show that we don't know what's going on, that's going to make it essential to me for Verin, because I'm one of those who never picked Verin. I read the whole series. I didn't pick up even that there was something odd in the beginning that Moraine hadn't sent her. So it was really delicious to have that reveal, and I'm hoping that that is an essential part of Verin that they can bring across both with the writing and the acting. But I want to see a bit of scatterbrain, because that just
I think scatterbrain is such a perfect word for Verin. I agree. I think there is this Verin. Any scene that you read of Verin, you feel the importance of it. Like if you think about, what scene of Verin that's written in the books that you can cut for the show, I would say none, because I think any scene that she's in is so well done and so important to what she does. So it's one of the best arcs in the whole series, and for the fact that she is not a main character, but such an important character in the journey she goes on, with. So it's like that. It's someone who's important, but you might not realize that right away. But there is something that would catch your eye and be like, I probably need to keep an eye out of this person. So I think that having that kind of attraction, but not like, hey, look at me, I'm important, not that. I think that's important. Sulin, what about you? What's essential Verin in terms of, the adaptation?
I think Verin is one of the funniest characters to read. She has and it's all about Matt will say something and she'll roll her eyes or mutter, or the girls will do something and she'll mutter under her breath, or the way she moves, and even the few POV chapters we get, she's hysterical. And I think they probably I think they'll amp it up a little bit. So for Verin, I feel like it's really important that they've got someone. Actually, let's not talk about that. But I do think her being comedy is really, really important, because when it flips, it needs to flip the audience as well. You need to go from, oh, here's this comic relief, to, oh no, this is the most devastating thing I've ever seen, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things that shock you, right? That Verin does. You're like, wait, what? And she does it with no, she just does them, and you're like, what? I think the best, not the best scene, but one of the best scenes Verin does is I'm gonna poison cats. Maybe not. I'm not like that. How do you put that on the screen? That has to be on the screen somehow. So there's that, there's so much. There's a lot of stuff happening in her head, right? But there's that. She's just, don't worry about me. I'm just here doing my own thing. But maybe what she's doing is super important, super dark at times too. So what do you think about that, Critter? Do we need to see dark Verin? Because we know she's killed people. We know she's done some dark deeds in her time. Do we need to see that at all now? Maybe season 2. Do we need to get that feeling right away, or is that something that's maybe left for kind of later in the series?
So I'm currently reading The Great Hunt, and that's whenever we really get the beginning of Verin's greatness. And the first scene that I really, really remember her being in is when she drops the bomb on Swan and Moraine that she's on to them, right? Yeah. And she does it in a scatterbrained way, because he's the Dragon Reborn or whatever. And they're literally like, you know what I mean? They're just like, do we kill her? It's obviously that's not exactly it, but it's kind of it. So I think Verin being able to delight with her randomness and her unexpected, how she can just surprise you by going from someone who you're not even paying attention to someone who you cannot look away from. Right. She goes from funny, Sulin, you're so right, she's hilarious, to dangerous so quickly. And I think the reason that I liked her before the big reveal was because she felt so competent in that way. Even if she was kind of textbook brown on the surface, she was actually very intelligent, and you knew it from the get-go. And so I think I need dynamic Verin. Like, I want her to be funny on the surface. I want people to fall in love with her. And then when the twist happens, even though they know that she's a very complicated character, that is going to be something they never expected. And so that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and I think Dana Lou says, this, she needs great timing. So timing for Verin, because she's not going to be in a lot of scenes. I imagine she's going to be, but when she's there, the timing of how she does things and the importance of all those things is going to be important. I thought I saw something else in chat.
I was going to say it's very important that she's British, because she needs to know how to drink tea.
That's good. That's good. Well, the tea drinking is important. Peach tea, maybe, right? Peach. That's what I'm drinking right now. Peach tea.
That's poison in Randland.
Well, yes. I mean, Verin.
That's the point.
That's this is for Verin. This is why I'm drinking. Well, I drink peach tea every time I do a show, so that's in memory of her all the time.
That is so fun.
Let's see. I see this, but I need someone to explain this to me. She'd be my favorite if she'd followed through with it. What am I missing?
They don't like Cadsuane.
Okay.
I saw that and I was like,
okay.
Cadsuane's my number 2.
I like Cadsuane.
Well, she would have been your favorite if the Shadow won, because if Cadsuane died, yeah.
Secret Dark Friend, Bane,
let's see. Anything else about Verin? I think being funny, being creative, what you pointed out in terms of loving her, but then turning things on its head.
Dynamic.
And then, that dynamic kind of thing, and just the fact that the scatterbrain part of it, where you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about this person, but she's clearly has something that I want to know about. What is her motive? Because that's the sort of thing you think throughout, is like, what is Verin about? What does she want? Because she shows up in different places and you're like, well, now she's in Two Rivers. Okay. Why is she with Matt now? What is she doing, with this letter she gave him? Like, there's so many different things that are kind of these puzzles, and some outright puzzles that you eventually find out, and it comes to a head in the most... I just imagining that scene with a visit from Verin Sedai. Season 7 of The Wheel of Time, episode 4, a visit from Verin Sedai. I'm calling it right
way.
now. Yeah, no.
It's got to be episode 7, the attack on the White Tower. Come on.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
It all happened. That is going to be the best episode in the series.
Okay.
I'm calling it.
Yes, okay. I was going mid-season kind of, thing where you see that and the thing happens at the end. But cool. Anything else on Verin before we then jump into why this last part of our discussion, why Verin needs to be played by Meera Syal? Anything else? Anything in chat that
just that essential Verin is also a Verin who spends her entire life sort of fixing a mistake and working hard and like being not necessarily regret, but being like determined and having a goal. And so she's very like she followed, like she might not have followed through with Cadsuane, but she followed through with everything else.
Yeah, and she's very considerate in that, like deliberate, because she's like, I'm gonna do this, but then she's like, I need to be sure that I'm doing the right thing, and when she does, she makes decisions and she follows through, and at the end she does that. So, someone strong like that, I think, is again important, where someone who can, seem like, yeah, I would expect this character to do these things, and that it's in line with what you would expect, having someone play her to that effect. Okay. Black Aja, anything for that? Do we need, how do we any hint of that in the season 2? Do we need to know Verin's Black Aja until the end?
No, I think at best we get the lie, but it's referencing something that everyone will assume happened off screen, right? That's what I'm,
Yes.
oh, Maureen said I sent me. We didn't see it happen, but we assume it's true, right? And then we move on. So no, I don't. I think we keep it a secret for until the big drop in
right,
season
exactly.
7.
Yeah,
episode 7.
Right. I think the way that'll happen. I mean, it's, again, multiple season arc, right? And they might have to change some of that to bring it forward, and that's maybe possible. But I think having that mystery is going to be important, and having someone play who's like, you don't really see why they're doing certain things, but as a reader, you were wondering about. It's harder on TV to be subtle with certain things, and I think that's going to be. I think how she's written is going to be important, and obviously someone who's playing her. Okay, all right. Last part. Now you can talk about anything you want. Why, from what you've seen of Meera Syal, the BAFTA Fellowship Lifetime Achievement Award-winning actor, how is she going to excel or maybe struggle at playing Verin? Sylan, let me start with you. What are the characteristics that you saw that's spoke to you?
I think the first thing I want to say, what uniquely qualifies her for the role of Verin, is that Verin is a treasure, right? She is like one of those characters who we all have a very strong emotional connection to. And Meera Syal is a national treasure in the UK. She's very beloved, and I feel like she'll get us as fans. I think she'll get the connection we have to this character and what it means to us. And so if she has that even going into it, she's gonna nail it.
Yeah, I think I didn't really think of that, from a outside, maybe meta sort of perspective, that this is a big personality, and people have seen her on TV in Britain, definitely, for a very long time. So having someone like her, and recent, again, the sort of kind of media attention she had with the BAFTA award, and then this, I think going into season 2 is going to be good for the show. So yeah, I think that definitely plays into it. Koala, what about you? What about the things you saw said, okay, this is going to be perfect for Verin Sadai?
For me, one of the really great things has been hearing Critter and Sylan talk about some of the shows that I didn't get to watch, because I wish that I had watched Life Isn't All Ha Ha He He, and I'm going to, because I think that brings full circle the encapsulation of Verin that I saw in what I watched, from the comedian to it was interesting. Sylan saw her as being the perfect mother in Yesterday, whereas I saw her as being the kind of mother so many of us are, that really want to concentrate on what their kid's trying to show us, but just can't always quite do it because, it's another trinket that the kid's bringing in. And so we sort of see all of those sides of her, but then we've also been introduced to how well she can play dark. And to me, that is what is going to really make Meera embody Verin fully. Is we've got the comedy, we've got all of the jumping from one thing to another, we've got all of her interactions with people, and we've got that dark side. So, wow, I just can't wait.
Yeah. Critter, what about you? What stood out in terms of Verin, Meera as Verin?
I think it was her gravitas, because Verin generally kind of reminds me of she's like a Cheshire cat type. She's like Q in Star Trek. She just kind of shows up and you're like, and then she just changes everything, right? Whether she's funny, whether she's just completely dropping a bomb on the plot. Whatever she's doing, she affects everyone around her, and it's this wild moment that happens, right, for the most part. And
Right.
so I think having seen Meera do a bunch of different stuff in a bunch of different types of shows, you know, whether it be a guest appearance or like a full-blown main acting star who goes through a journey of her own, she's got such range that I think she has the ability to drop in a la the Cheshire Cat and do something hilarious, or drop in and drop a bomb on the entire series that no one was expecting. And I think she's perfect for it, and I can't wait to see her do it. And I have a feeling that the populace will really, really latch onto her very quickly because of her presence on the screen. All eyes get drawn to her whenever she's on the screen, you know, even next to some insanely good actors. And so she's gonna nail it. And after having seen what I've seen doing research for this stream, I am so confident in saying that.
Yeah, I think that gravitas, you know, there is that understated, you know, nature to it, but then when she needs to just step it up, it is clear that has happened. So I think when that part of it is, I kind of think of how, you know, Kate Fleetwood plays Leandrin, right?
Yes.
You know, is like anytime she's on there, she will definitely, you know, everything that she's doing or saying is deliberate. The way she gets close to Moraine and does all that, you know, Meera has that quality in the works I saw, where you want to focus on why is she doing that? Like, what was that about? Like, what there is, like, because she wouldn't do anything, and then she would do something, and it would be important that that facial expression or that movement and how that came across. So, and again, the word that came to me is just that natural kind of whimsical nature to her. That is how I think of Verin. But then and I like how Melissa Cage is, Verin is definitely like esteemed. Like, you want her when needed to become the focus of the scene. And I think Meera has showed that in a few different. I mean, that applause that she does, it's really not much, but the way she does it, and the way she then realizes, oh, maybe not, and kind of looks down. Like, there's so much range that she shows within that, and I think that again speaks to how well I think she'll fit this. And we've seen what, 3 seconds of her, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds of her. Yeah. She looks awesome. You know, we spent almost 2 hours talking about that. Was it last week? 10 days ago? Time makes no sense to me anymore. Especially after today. But yeah, Rapunzel sent me this picture from Priyanka's Instagram, and she said this is the most Verin to ever Verin, and this
Absolutely.
It's like, wait, is there a picture? Let me look over here. But I am leading Jennifer Chun Garcia to coffee. That's what I'm actually doing. But I'll take a picture with you for that 1 second. She looks, you know, she embodies Verin. Even in that, I see it. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And you know, these are hard shows. So much goes into researching and then taking your mind off, you know, and trying to get that line in between the character and the actor. But any other thoughts for the three of you that you want to mention? You know, season 2, September 1st. Do you think we see Verin in the first episode? Yay, nay?
I don't know. I was just on IMDb, and obviously it's probably not updated, but it said that she's in 1 episode of The Wheel of Time. Granted, no. I don't know. I just can't wait to see whenever we get her, and if she's going to show up in the teaser trailer, which I assume is going to come in June. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that I hope it's more than 1 episode.
We'll see. Maybe that was for season 3 too. So I might
Yes.
just be totally
You know, I
giving you the wrong information.
no, I'll believe that.
Yeah.
I'd want to believe that more
Yeah.
than. What about Koala? Any kind of parting thoughts on Meera and Verin? And season 2, like how much will we see of her? I guess.
I think we'll see more than one episode, and I think that she'll come in either on episode 2 or 3, and then maybe we won't see her for a couple of episodes and she'll be back. But there's a couple of key things that need to be set up about her in this season, so I think we'll see her more than once. But I'll just do a little call, and I know I'm hedging a bit late, but episode 2 or 3.
Okay. So let me actually end this poll. Is Verin your favorite Aes Sedai? It's more. I mean, I think. Well, this is where the problem is, right? Because it's Nynaeve and Egwene, right? Like, but even with that, that's a pretty high number. So 56% of about 100 people have voted, and about 50 of you do. Verin is your favorite Aes Sedai, so not Nynaeve or Egwene. I mean, again, Moraine and Swan, and there are a lot of other people that you could throw into that. Verin is my favorite Aes Sedai. It's just one of my favorite characters. Before I had a poll in mind. I'm gonna poll when will we see Verin for the first time in season 2. So any thoughts from you?
I think 1 or 2, episode 1 or 2.
Okay, so when will we see Verin in season 2 of The Wheel of Time? Cool. Are you guys excited? September 1st. When do you think? When is the next? What is the next big thing we're gonna get? What's next?
I was thinking about this. It's either going to be Natasha's casting, but I think if Natasha is Lanfear, then they're not going to give it to us for like ever. We're just never going to know. Or it's going to be a teaser trailer in mid-June. Those are my 2 guesses. I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, I think mid-June teaser trailer makes a lot of sense. So I asked, when will we see Verin in season 2 of The Wheel of Time, episode 1, 2, and 3? Let's see what people put. Yeah, I think that probably. I think Yukiri put out the timeline. We are getting the last time we got the release date was with a teaser. It was about 78 days. This time it's 100. So a month from now would make good sense. Mid-June to 3rd to 4th week of June that we get a teaser. I am on the camp that if Natasha is Lanfear, they really shouldn't. I think give us some clips, some 1 second clips and things like that, but nothing more than that, and maybe not even her face for that matter. Just
You mean like a bloody hand, for example?
Yes, that will definitely work. And I see people talking about episode 1 with new Matt. Okay, yeah. Yes, that makes sense. I like this. Kayla is asking, what about Origins? When are we getting Origins?
August.
Nice. We're getting Origins in August. I strong belief in the next 2 weeks we're gonna get Origins.
Shut up.
I have this strong belief.
So you think that's the next drop then?
Yeah, I do. I think I would be like, it'd be, again, to me, it would be very odd that we're getting season 2 teaser. Whoa, we're going to season 2. Oh, by the way, why don't you look at these Origins from last season? Like, it just doesn't seem, from a marketing standpoint, that great. It might work out, in terms of if they're building up, Origins as a series that they want people to watch. But I think they should rather want people to watch the show, the first season and season 2, and not be like, go to our website to find Origins.
They didn't drop Origins before Rings of Power either. Like, that's presumably why they didn't release it in August, is because somebody at Prime Video marketing was like, well, you promised what right before the Rings of Power came out?
So this is it.
Yeah,
well, no, but before the teaser, that's your only time.
No, you're right. Now is the time if they're gonna do it. So honestly, that's a good thought. Like, I hadn't considered it.
because I think otherwise you're in the midst of season 2 marketing, start getting cast interviews, all of those things that, happen, and Origins would just seem out of place, I think. So I think that's going to be, my thought.
I think San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
Like, it's got to be when we get the
it's
trailer.
July 23rd. That's about 6 weeks before, it's a week after WalkCon. I think it's July 21st to 23rd or something like that. That seems perfect. Actually, WatCon seems perfect for a trailer, but maybe an exclusive.
Maybe an exclusive clip.
Exclusive early look only for people in the room of the trailer. I don't know. The powers that be, Rafe, if you're listening. Well, I mean, I don't know if Rafe gets to decide this, but that would, it's just 5 days early, right, or something.
Of the trailer.
Yeah, I'm going. So it's July 19th. SDCC Dawson has mentioned. So July 12th or 13th. Just give us the trailer in the room there.
I love that.
Yeah,
absolutely. But like under a cone of silence. Like
yes.
There's nobody gets to talk. Like nobody says anything.
Yeah, it's an embargo on.
We'll sign NDAs.
That's Sunday.
Yeah, you have to sign one as you go into the room.
Yeah.
Everybody drops their phones in a basket.
Exactly.
And...
No, totally. Yes, that's what happens. They this is interesting. This is what I'm gonna do to Kalis. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna drink my drink there. That's what I'm gonna say. No, I think that would be awesome. But a trailer at San Diego Comic-Con makes sense. Okay, let me just end this poll and give away I have a special giveaway tonight. Because it's such a special day, right? It's a special day. Let me fix this. We
will at least have the sizzle reel during WatCon, or like presumably we'll have a teaser. We'll have a teaser trailer to talk about during WatCon, no matter what. Yes. So very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Let's see. Let me end this poll again about let me see the results pop up there. I'm gonna start this giveaway, but let me first show you. Oh, I don't have those pictures handy. That's sad. I had pictures for what I was gonna give away, and now I didn't put them up. So,
People read books; they can use their imagination.
Well, yes, but this is a visual thing that is amazing. So. Let me
Dawson Cowles, you think we'll finally get the Matt and Leandrin and Egwene and Elaine clips at WatCon? Yeah. Yes. Hey, I'll take it. Like, I would love to see those.
So if people know Trian, who's an amazing leather worker, I guess, makes these amazing things. This is a dice cup that she made, and the color of this dice cup is green. I'm just saying, it's kind of green. This is perfect. I have nothing in here right now. She gave this to me to give away. This is a special day, so anyone who's in here, I'm gonna put this in there. This is what I'm giving away for our giveaway tonight. So I'll send this to you. Let's see. Let me start that raffle. Give me 1 second. You'll see it. For a special dice cup.
Are we allowed to enter?
Yes. I saw your eyes light up.
Well, it's a dice cup. Like, are you kidding me? I've always wanted something from her.
I'm still waiting for my Dusty Will mug.
Oh, see, I have mine.
Wait. When did you? Where did you win? I didn't. Not my show. Not my show.
Well, I think it was before your time.
Yeah. I am up to date with my mugs. I send them to. I don't know how this place was run before. No. There is a
ramshackle establishment.
No. There's a list, and we'll get you your mug. What we do now is give away for what Innkeeper Hash does is a link to the Dusty Wheel Zazzle a gift card and you can get anything you want. You can get any swag the Dusty Wheel has on there to enter. Okay, this should work. Let me just. All right, cool. Let's see if I start seeing names pop up here. Actually, no, it might not work. Give me 1 second and then it'll work.
It showed up in the chat.
Okay. I don't see the name. So if you're hearing me now, so many people you have to re-enter. So if you're hearing me now, this time, 10 seconds, I don't know what the delay is. If you've done it, you have to do it again. Sorry, this is my fault. So there might be people who are doing it again. So start putting that into those words into chat. Exclamation point raffle. Yeah, I'm not seeing.
You need like countdown music for this.
Yeah, I know.
Or like Sims music.
I don't see it showing up. That's odd. Yeah. This. Hey, everyone's like, we want that dice cup.
By golly.
Yeah, this is odd. Yeah.
DK mood. If it isn't working right, just pick me. Hey, the power of positive thinking. Maybe you'll get it.
Yeah, no, there are no eligible users. That's odd. That should. Yeah, I'm in the right. It's not choosing the wrong stream because we have two streams. So is that the problem? No. The stream that's going down is the stream. Yeah. Maybe it's not a special day. It's too special of a day. The bubble of evil has hit. Village Mattress, thank you. Oh no, I see it. It just wasn't showing up. 72 of you all suddenly showed up in the thing. So, yes.
Definitely a bubble of evil.
Yes. A lot of you.
Sometimes there's a delay.
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you, Village Mattress. Where's Taylor when you need him? I did. Taylor was here in spirit. That's what I would say. Taylor is always in spirit with the Dusty Wheel. And let's see. Okay, I'll give another maybe 30 seconds, just so people. And I think the way this works for me is you can't actually have two kind of double have a greater chance if you enter twice. So we should be good.
Should only log once, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I am my own Taylor. Yes, that is true, Dana Lou.
It's a stressful chair to be in. Like I'm also my own Taylor.
Yeah, I know.
It's rough.
It's yeah. All right, so only one entry counts. All right, you want to do this? You guys ready? Drum roll. Okay. All right, let's see what shows up. There you go.
That's probably terrible.
Let's see. Elf Witch has won the giveaway.
Congratulations.
Elf Witch was asking earlier if this was a live call and talk show, and it usually is, and I was going to make it that. But when we do these type of kind of scripted shows, it gets really hard to actually do call-ins, and so tonight we didn't. But congratulations, you are the winner of. I always reach for. I have one that is. I won. So that's mine. That's actually green. That's something I have. But this is the one. It's bigger than the one I have. I kind of like it. It has, but this is what you want, Elfwitch. Reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, and I will get this to you. And congrats. Again, everyone here, thank you for coming. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We do this kind of Becoming series. We're going to do it more and more now with Becoming Elias, a few other actors and characters as we get them, and some that we've gotten already. Becoming Dane Bornhold. There's definitely a lot more like this that we do. And leave a comment on YouTube about why you think, after the show's over, why Meera would make a great Verin, or where she might struggle and things like that. And so other people can find this, and because the guests here have done wonderful research and brought their expertise in Meera Syal to all of you. So thank you so much for doing that. And we will be back next week. There is a show kind of scheduled. We might change things around, so I'm not going to show what we have, but we are. It's ramping up. This is the hype that we all love, and we'll be back next week and back at the end with a lot more fun. So having said that, as we say around here, good evening from the Dusty Wheel, and smash the black.
You went right to kill it. Look at you, you're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like, this is
really well. And now I'm like, great, my turn?
And if you don't like that, you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
sad.
I
see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shadar Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge! Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like
this
all of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
and
elements.
Just a moment ago,
kind of
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me, and
probably I would say put in 70-80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,